George was an undergraduate chemistry major, and I came to know him when he was president of the Black Students Union at Illinois State Normal. There was serious campus unrest across the country at that time, and I was able to observe the natural charismatic qualities in George Pruitt. And he played a very important role in maintaining and improving relations between various groups, particularly minorities, on the campus.
He was a kind person. As I said, he was self-confident. He was very bright and had a really good set of values. So you put that together, and for a 22-year-old, you say, that's somebody that has all kinds of potential.
He was executive vice president in the very early years of CHEA. And that was when prior learning assessment was a radical idea. He really helped support Morris Keaton, who was CHEA's founder, to get grants and bring this idea to thousands of faculty and institutions. He really helped CHEA through what I think of as a period of very troubled waters.
When he came in, he was very young and very good looking. And when he started to talk, he was so articulate, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do with education. And at the end of the meeting, we couldn't believe it, and we said, this is the man for us.
There was a commitment to Trenton when George first came on board. He looked at the opportunities that the school could supply in terms of resources, research, the minds of some really brilliant people. He had the college work closely with the new administration.
I know the recommendations he made to me were extraordinarily helpful, and the kind of things that we got going that benefited higher education. George was a part of every one of them. And George was somebody I could bounce things off. And George would come back, and George is dead honest. If he doesn't like something, he'll tell you. And that's extraordinarily helpful to a governor. This is a man who's advised 8 governors. Nobody else has done that.
Dr. Pruitt's contribution to my efforts in reforming higher education in New Jersey had been enormous. He, of course, was on the first task force I appointed as governor. And so Dr. Pruitt is a groundbreaker. And not only with what he did for me on the task force, but also what he's done in making Thomas Edison a place where everyone could go to get a great education.
I mean, his concept of education and getting people to understand that it's not just how many hours you spend in the classroom, it's what your overall understanding of a subject area is, was enormously important, and it sent a very strong message. And the fact that he did so much outreach and provided so much educational opportunity to our veterans, men and women, and to those serving today was just, I mean, it's a turnaround. It's an important thing for the state, but also for the nation as an example. He has been a national leader in many, many ways.
Well, George is a visionary, and he also was willing to take risk over the years. And I think because of that, he was able to be in the forefront of the development of this whole area of online learning, adult learning, and so on. And that's had a tremendous impact, not only in New Jersey, but around the country. And more and more people, I think, emulate that.
George is one of the most knowledgeable people in the country about accreditation. He's had extensive experience with it as a college president. He's had extensive experience with it as an innovator. George has always been forthright, straightforward, honest about accreditation. He's passionate about what it can do, but he does not shrink from saying, hey, wait a minute, we're not doing this job as well as we need to do it. Things have to change. And he's incredibly thoughtful and insightful about it.
He was chair of Middle States at a time when we were going through a lot of change, and could not have asked for a better person to lead us through the kind of changes that we were going through. There have also been really important things that he's done for quality assurance in higher ed by serving as a witness in hearings on Capitol Hill.
He has been really great in terms of working with our congressional leaders. They know George is going to bring them good information, good data. They know he's going to be honest. They know he's going to be candid, and they know he is knowledgeable.
I was a member of Congress for 16 years on the Education Committee all of that time. George Pruitt has been a pillar in a number of areas in New Jersey and nationwide. He really has been attuned to the currents, the political, cultural, educational currents that affect higher education.
I spend an awful lot of time talking to members of Congress and their staff and folks in the executive branch. And George is sort of my go-to person to talk about non-traditional students and how contemplated or proposed changes in public policy will affect non-traditional students. So what George shares with me is something that I share every week with folks in key positions in Washington who are making decisions about how to structure federal programs.
George is the dean of the university chancellors and college presidents.
My first impressions and my continuing impression of George is he's just such a wealth of information about higher education, about New Jersey politics, and about higher education in New Jersey. He's been a mentor of mine and a dear friend of mine, so I can trust him. You know, there are times when I can call him up when something really outrageous has happened, either politically or on campus, and just scream. Who else can you scream at with such safety? And I think he feels the same kind of way.
Since I became president of Montclair State University 19 years ago, George Pruitt has been a fixture in my life. And what I love about him is that he is a passionate advocate for what we all do. And what I especially love is that he has the guts to climb out on a limb when it's the right thing to do in aid of our shared mission.
He is one of those influential people in my life that I appreciate every single day, and I pray for every single day. I learned so much under his tutelage, just watching him. He is an amazing leader in collaborating with people, in ensuring that you understand the purpose of why you're president. It has nothing to do with title. And he lets you know that if you want to be a president, it's not about you. It's about the students and the institution you serve.
George, you're beating me by about 6 months getting out of this enterprise. But I promise you, I will be your friend forever. Good luck, best wishes. My dear, dear friend, George.
I've always enjoyed the opportunity to learn from you, listen from you, and get advice about how we ought to be proceeding on public policy matters. You have really made Thomas Edison a national force in American higher education, and all of us in higher education owe you a great debt of gratitude. So here's wishing you the best of luck in your next 35 years at Thomas Edison.
Oh, George, congratulations on this milestone, and please continue the kind of enthusiastic, important, and really transformational work that you've been doing. We've been lucky to have you in this state and to keep you in this state. Congratulations, all the best to you, and the college and the state is lucky to have you.
George, it's been a great personal and professional honor to have known you over all these years, and I want to wish you and your family all the best in health and happiness as you move ahead in life. I know that you've had a tremendous record of achievement. Your accomplishments have been great, and I know that they will continue because I can't see you going off on that boat and just floating around in the future.
George, you know so well when we hired you and you first came to Edison that we never believed you would stay. We worried that you would be gone so quickly, but your commitment was always to external degree. We wish you and Pam a wonderful future. I'm sure whatever you do is going to be very important for all of us. And thank you for being a good friend.
George, you've been a good friend, you've been an advisor, you've been a very effective advocate for higher education. I've seen that from my perspective on the Education Committee in the U.S. House of Representatives, and all around Trenton, all around the halls of the legislature, all around New Jersey.
In the play Man and Superman by another George Bernard Shaw, the protagonist and social revolutionary Jack Tanner talks his way steadily through 4 very long and dense acts. At the very end, the character Anne, who loves him, utters the play's final words. She says, "Never mind, dear, go on talking." And so I say to George, keep on talking. I, for one, would not want to be working in this world without the sound of your voice nearby.
George, thank you. That's the most important thing I can say. And whatever you're going to do, I wish you all the best. It takes enormous courage and foresight to make this transition, and I'm going to watch and learn from what you do. All the best.
I hope that you spend time with your family and with your friends, that you enjoy the rest of your years without the stress and the pressures that came along with literally transforming higher education. You've helped to make me a better governor, and you've helped to make our higher education system a better place.
So George, I'll be looking forward to hearing about the next chapter in your career and your life. As I said, I wish you all the best in this new set of endeavors that you'll be engaged in. Thanks for everything, George, and we'll be seeing you.
You are going to be able to enjoy Pam, take more vacations, use that boat, and you're going to be able to still contribute to the college that you love so much. So experience the ups and downs, the highs and the lows, and know that you've given this college a great portion of your life, and it is as great as it is because of the work that you've done.
Stay involved. Don't let your mind rust, because you have a keen mind and extraordinary ability, and you can bring so much because there is so much needed from a man like you. You're the twin of Father Hesburgh at Notre Dame. Both of you have served, I believe, 35 years, which is a long, long time. And American higher education today is in straits, you're well aware of, that are as difficult as they have ever been. Stay engaged. I look forward to seeing you, my friend. I love you.
George, congratulations. I wish you and Pam all of the health and happiness that the future holds for you, but most of all, I hope that you won't forget us, that you will keep in touch with us, that we can always count on your friendship, and that we can always count on your sage advice, that the wisdom that you have provided to all of us is deeply appreciated and heartfelt. And you finally figured out how to dismount. Congratulations.
You are my brother from another mother. You are family. You are someone that's always there for me and so many others. The impact that you have had in higher education is immeasurable. And I hope that I can continue to do my work in the footsteps that you led before me. Thank you so very, very much. I love you.
Well, a message to George and Pam. You're going into a new phase of your life, and it's time now to do that, I'm sure. Part of what you'll be doing is redefining who you are. And my hope for you is that you find happiness in doing this, and that you also find ways that you can continue to make contributions to the welfare of others. So good luck, my good friends.
George, I just want to thank you for your contributions to this field, to CHEA, to prior learning assessment, and I cannot think of a person who is more deserving of the Morris T. Keaton Award than you. You have given so much of yourself to the field and to CHEA and to me that I just can't thank you enough.
You know, George, this is the message I have for you. You're a very humble guy, and you've contributed so much to higher education in the state, so much to your institution. But think for a minute. I mean, there are buildings out there that wouldn't be there except for you. There are all sorts of programmatic things at Thomas Edison which wouldn't be there except for you. And all these things that is fine, and they're monuments to you, but that's not what's most important. What's most important is not hundreds, but thousands of people out there who have different lives because of you and because of Thomas Edison. There are people who have jobs now, might have had jobs otherwise. There are families who are together, who might not be together otherwise. There are people who've benefited so much by your ideas and your programs in the thousands and maybe many more than thousands. So George, those families aren't all going to say thank you. Those men and women are all going to say thank you. But maybe you'll never have. I can say, George, thank you very much. You have made one hell of a difference, and we all are very, very grateful. Lastly, as I would say, George, you and New Jersey have always been perfect together.